Hey guys, this video is about useEffect hook and is a part of our React hook series. If we talk about React hooks, that was firstly introduced in React 16.8, and the purpose of hooks are to give some features like state management and lifecycle hooks into the functional components. The state management that is handled by useState. Uh, so in this video we will talk about useEffect that is used for life cycle of React. So let's understand more about the hook. For that, let's create a component for useEffect hook.js, and let's create the function same as the file we have created, useEffect hook, and we return the simple div for now, useEffect, and below here let's export default useEffect hook. Okay, so let's come to our main component, that is app component. So instead of div, let's import first of all our newly created component, that is useEffect hook. So let's remove the div here and add a component here. So you see that text is changed to useEffect. So let's come to our component. So here first of all let's add useEffect, and it will take two parameter. The first parameter is the callback function where we add our code that we want to execute, and the second one is the dependency. So by default it's empty. We can leave that as it is, and if we do that it will render every time if something change in the component. So let's understand first of all the dependency of useEffect. Let's add a console here, and let's add here the console useEffect. Okay, so here we inspect the browser, and here we let's see the output. Okay, so as you see the useEffect console here the first time, but it will render every time the component get some changes in the component. So let's add here a state, let's say count, and here we have set count, and for that we use useState. That is another hook. I have already created a video for that. If you don't watch, please go and watch that video. So it basically change the state of change the state, and for that let's add a button. Let's remove the div here and add a button. increment. So here on click we have to set count is equal to first of all we need to get previous count, and let's add into previous count plus 1. So here we have a button, and on one click we are updating and change the state of count. So let's clear the console. Now whenever we increment, first of all let's add here a output, that is count here, and here let's add a like a div. Okay, so here we have a increment button and the count is 4. So when we click on the button it will increase the count. So as you see that even I don't do anything in the use effect, it's still console log use effect. So that's because it's about the dependency. So for now we have skip the dependency here, so it will render every time the component get rendered. So to avoid that side effect, we have to add a dependency, that is a empty array. So it will now it will change, and it will only render once the component get rendered first time. So let's refresh the page. So the count is 0, and the when we click on increment button, so here is, let's save first of all. Actually we don't saved our component. So you see the first time use effect get consoled. Let's add the increment. Now as you see that use effect still remain the same, and it's not console.log in our browser. That is because of our dependency. So that is the first thing. Also we can pass any state like count state or any state. So it will, whenever the state get changed, we can call that use effect. So let's understand it by taking another example. So let's add button, let's say to do, and once more is user. Okay, and on click let's add a state active tab. So here let's set active tab, and call use state, and for now let's define it to do's. Okay, and here we need to set active tab, that is the same to do's, and let's copy the on click and paste here, and here we have changed it to user. So the purpose of this, that we have two button like tabs. So whenever we click on it, it will change the current tab, and according to that tab we will fetch some API. Let's say JSON placeholder. So that is the API. Let's cut it, and let's remove the console. We use fetch, and here we pass temporal literals, and here we just replace it with our active tab. So let's more increase the size, and here we need to store the value of fetch into response. Also let's call it in a function, so we can add a sync await on it. The function is get records, and it's a fat arrow function. So let's move our fetch function in it and call get records. Await, actually here we need to add the await here. So also we need to async here, so that is the async and await. So I also created the video for async and await. You can go and watch that also. So here we add another like say data, and await response dot JSON. So it will store the JSON data into the data. So let's here we have to add another state, that is records, and here we have set records. So use state here, and let's by default keep it empty array. So when we set the records with the value of fetch data, and let's whenever we click on the to do for user, it will fetch the data from JSON placeholder. So let's first of all go to network tab. So here you can see, okay, so here you can see that whenever we click on to do, it will show the to do API, and actually so actually we still have the empty dependency of useEffect, so we need to change it to active tab. So here we pass the state into this array, empty array. So it will analyze the changes of the state. So whenever now click on the button, so whenever we click to do, it call the to do API, and when we call users, it will call the user API. For more clarity, let's remove the inspect, and let's add here pre, and above that let's add a map over here, record, and it will, let's move the pre here, and here we write json.stringify is record, that is record. Let's change into fat arrow. So here you can see, let's move this code below the buttons, so the tabs on the top. So for now we are seeing the to-do list. This is the to-do list. So whenever we click on users, it will show the user list. So that is about the fetching data using useEffect. So one more important thing about useEffect is unmount the data, unmount anything that we subscribed. For that we need to return, and here we need to write the code for any subscribed, or any like if we add some listener or like timer, we need to clear that timer on unmount of that useEffect. So let's understand that also. For let's remove the old code and the states also. Okay, we don't need this get records. So here let's consider just a simple count, and set count, use state. For now the initial value is 0. So let's say we have a set interval, and in that we update the count, previous count plus 1. So for now let's comment the return part and remove the dependency also here, and right here count is equal to count. There is active tab. Okay, so that is counting all the time. That's because we have to add a dependency also here. that is how many time we want to, how many millisecond we want to delay the to set the count. So let's add it to 1000. Let's refresh. So you can see that it increase the count into 1. So but that is that is not clear the interval when we when this component get changed, or let's say removed from the div, or we change the route from this component to another component. So for that we need to add here, first of all we need to add the interval id, save the interval id, and here clear interval, and pass the interval IDs, so it will clear. So you can see that it showing the count wrong, because we are not like it is not executing after every 1 second. Now when we add a return here, that will clear the previous interval. Now let's refresh it. So it will now call after every 1 second, because whenever this let's say we have re-render the component, and it will clear the previous interval of one that was already created. So if we don't add that part, it will create many like unlimited interval, and that will add the counts 2 times, 4 times, 10 times, many times, like how many times the interval get created. So that is the crucial part, but that only for if we like subscribe, or let's say add some listener, so we need to add that event from the return from this use effect hook. So that's all about the use effect hook. If you really like the video, please hit like button, and also subscribe the channel for more like these kinds of video, like React hooks video. Thanks.